Keep going, Ron.
Back another
To
three.
the end of zip code.
Zip code. Our speaker this morning is a high-tech refugee turned entrepreneur. Fascinating. Now he also has a very fascinating topic. Have any of you had a problem with communicating with other people? You think they just don't get it? Would you like to know the answer to that? Well, great. I'd like to introduce this morning Rappin' Ron Hori, speaking on what's wrong with those people. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Len. I appreciate that introduction. How's everybody doing? Great. Okay, you've heard of this topic is what's wrong with those people and how can you get along with them better? So you've heard of speed dating, speed networking. This is going to be speed talking and speed listening. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, who has a piece of paper and a pencil or pen? Raise your hand. Okay, if you do not have the paper or pen or pencil, ask one of these people if they will give you a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. We're going to go through this very fast. I don't have time to take any questions except till the end. If you miss something, ask your neighbor. I'm not going to answer it. Okay, we're going to talk about how can you relate better to someone else. Have you ever said, why are they doing that? Maybe it's your wife. Maybe it's your husband or your relationship partner. Have you ever said that? Why are they doing that? Well, they're not necessarily doing it just to irritate you, and we're going to help you understand why they're doing it. How many of you would like to increase your business, make more sales, move your business forward? Oh, only two people, only I and that. Okay, a few other people. Okay, I just want to see who's paying attention. So we're going to go through this very fast. This is a personality model developed by Robert Rohm, R-O-H-M. I'll talk about him later, give you some links to resources where you can learn more about this business model. Okay, so take out your piece of paper, and on the top, write outgoing, and on the bottom, write reserved. On the left side, write task, and on the right side, write people. So it's outgoing on top, reserved on the bottom, task on the left, people on the right. Okay, now how have you, so we're going to talk about these two dimensions of behavior, personality. How many of you would consider yourself outgoing? You like to talk to people, you like to meet people, you're very sociable. Okay, if that's true, circle outgoing on the top. Now how many of you people are more like myself? I tend to be more reserved, normally. So how many of you are more reserved? And there's no right or wrong, nothing, none of these is better than the other. So if you're more reserved, circle reserved on the bottom. Now, on the left and right, who is more task-oriented? Meaning, let's say, if you're going to work on something, you want to get the job done. What do I need to do? Put your head down and get the job done. If you're task-oriented, circle task. Now, if you're more people-oriented, you're saying, hey, let's have a good time. Let's get to know each other. Let's be more sociable. Okay. Circle people. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, now draw a quadrant like this. You've got 4 squares, and if you're outgoing and you're task-oriented, you're in this square, write your name, and so on with the other squares. So you should have your name in one of these 4 squares. So you could be outgoing and task-oriented, you could be outgoing and people-oriented, or you could be reserved and task-oriented, or reserved and people-oriented. So write your name in one of those squares. And if you're married or if you're in a relationship, think of which square your partner is in. And write their name. And it may be in, it's usually very rare that it will be in the same square. Usually it's in the opposite square, or diagonally opposite. There's a saying that opposites attract, and then they attack. And if you're laughing, you know what I mean. Okay. Okay, so now you have that model. Okay, now next step. I forgot to mention, I'm going to condense about 3 hours of a seminar into 20 minutes. So Len is my timer here, so I'm going to go rapid fire, listen quick. In fact, one thing you can do to help your listening and understanding is sit up straight. Lean forward, your body is going to tell your brain that you're really paying attention, in addition to writing down, taking notes. Okay, so you see these letters, and it goes, D is in the upper right here, then I, then S, and then C. D-I-S-C. This is the model developed by Dr. Robert Rome. So I'm going to explain what each of these quadrants is very, very briefly, and explain what the characteristics are. And if somebody is outgoing and task-oriented, they're what's called a D. A driver, a doer, somebody who just gets the job done. Think Donald Trump. Is he a high, we call it a high D, a driver, get the job done, get out of the way, don't give me any excuses, get it done. Right? Anybody know somebody like that? Or maybe you are one? Okay, the I is you're outgoing and you're people-oriented. The I stands for inspiring, sometimes impulsive. There are actually 12 different characteristics for all of these quadrants. And this person says, hey, where's the party? Or, I am the party. And, oh, where are my car keys? And where's my car? Sometimes they're unfocused. You know, if you are an I, or maybe you know somebody, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. None of these behaviors is better than the others. We want to understand people. We're not judging people. Okay, here we have the S quadrant, where you're people-oriented but more reserved. That's basically my style. If I'm not speaking, I'm typically sitting back and just listening. S stands for stable or supportive. These are team players. And if you have a team, you want all 4 characteristics of people on your team. If everybody is like you, guess what? It's boring. And one of the challenges is uniting a team with all of these different behavior characteristics. So an S is very supportive. A C stands for cautious or careful. These people are typically very, very detail-oriented. They will proofread a Xerox copy. Typically they're CPAs, accountants, people in high tech. If you're a C, you know what I'm talking about, or if you're in a relationship with a C, sometimes what they do will drive you crazy. Myself, I have a C tendency. I'm a recovering analytical C. Okay, so this is that's a C. So we have these 4 general personality behavior types. Okay, here's the challenge, and I hope Len is keeping track of the time. Typically, obviously, you'll relate very well to somebody who is like you, somebody who is in the same quadrant. If somebody is an S like myself, you know, they're very easygoing. I was just talking to Mark here, you know, he's typically the same type of behavior I have, very, very calm, very steady, very easygoing, and so we had a really good conversation. And you may relate well to somebody who's next to you in the quadrant. The one you're going to have a challenge with is somebody who's diagonally opposite from you. In this case, it'll be a D relating to an S. A D is a high driver, Donald Trump. S, you might think of somebody as Mother Teresa or Mr. Rogers, if you're old enough to remember who Mr. Rogers is.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say you're in a sales situation or you're in a presentation situation and you are an S, like myself. And who's a D in here? Come on, you can admit it. Oh, Joe's. Oh, you're a closet D. I never would have guessed. But she's a D with a nice personality. Okay, so if I went to Joe's and a D personality says, what's the bottom line? Tell me what I need to do. I'll let you know if I want to do it, yes or no. So I'm saying, Joe's, how are you? How was your weekend? Oh, how's your family? Oh, did you have a good time? And she's thinking, what's the point? Why are we here? Right? Don't waste my time. What do you want? Give me the nuts and bolts. So if you're an S, excuse me, or whichever quadrant you are in, especially if you're dealing with somebody diagonally, you want to understand their style and adapt to their style. So I'll say, hey, Jokes, hey, let's get together, let's have a one-on-one. I want to learn about you. What do you need? You tell me, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hey, I know these people, here's for you. Okay, this is what I need. Boom, 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 let's get it done. All right? Good, let's go on. All right? Have a great day.
Yeah.
Now, does that feel more comfortable to you?
I love it.
Okay, now we'll take the opposite. Let's say you are a D. Any other Ds besides Joe's here? Okay, and your name was? Jim. Okay, Jim, let's say you are talking to an S. You're talking to somebody, who's an S here? Okay, Iolette. Okay, let's say, Jim, you're talking to Iolette. You're saying, Iolette, This is what I do. Let me tell you exactly what it has. We've got 3 bullet points. Bam, bam, bam. 1, 2, 3. We've got this program. It'll help you do this and this and this. Are you ready to go? And I would say, whoa, stop. You know, go away, because it's overwhelming for a D to almost intimidate an S, because they want a relationship. They want to get to know you. They want to move at a slightly slower speed. That gets into a whole other body dynamics area. Now, if you're an I, who's an I? Oh, lots of I's here. Party people, let's have fun. Woo, yeah, right. Okay. And let's see, you're talking to a C. Who's a C analytical type? Detail oriented. Okay, a few people. If you're an I, you're saying, hey, I got this great program. Oh, this product, this service, it's so wonderful. You're going to love it. Oh, it's going to do everything you ever wanted. It's going to be so easy. We're going to have so much fun. This C person is saying, this is an airhead. What are the details? They want me to do something I don't even know what they're talking about. What planet are they from? Right? If you're talking to a C, they want to know who, what, when, where, why. They want it to the 0.001, right? Len? Len's, I think, a C, or yes, Len has a little bit of C in you, don't you, Len? Just a little bit. Okay, and so the opposite. Let's say you're a C, analytical, you're very detail-oriented. Typically, you have things very well organized, alphabetized, categorized, and you're going to do a presentation to an I. You're going to say, who's an I here again? Oh, there's so many of you. Okay, all of you. You're saying, we have this great program. We've got 10 steps, and there's 3 subcategories under each 10. We've got all the research, we've got all the documentation. This program, this idea is going to change your life. And you know what? The best thing about it is we have a manual. This manual is 100 pages long. It's got all the details, all the footnotes. It's going to answer all your questions. Are you ready to get started? No. Where's the fun? Where's the fun? Okay, so I just got the high sign from Len, so let me check my notes here. Okay. So again, this has been a lot of fun. Okay, I'll give you links to other resources. The gentleman's name who I learned this from several times, you know, actually over 12 hours of information from him. I spent hundreds of dollars learning this idea. His name is Dr. Robert Rohm, R-O-H-M. And you can do a search for him on the internet. You'll see all kinds of resources. He even offers a free personality test. And all of us have combinations of all of these 4 different behavior types. Not one is any better than the others. And you can be at different levels on each dimension. So what you can do is find out more about who you are. And again, it's not what's wrong with those people. It's how can I relate to their style? How can you learn who you are and then learn how you can shift and adapt in a way with integrity and character and with the right attention, so that you can communicate your message and they can hear it in a style that is comfortable to them. So again, there's these different dimensions. You can be outgoing, you can be reserved, and you can be task-oriented, or you can be people-oriented, and depending on who you, and this actually works with children also, and can definitely have a big impact on your personal life as well as your business life. So we have time for a few questions. If anybody has some questions, we have a brief amount of time. Ayelet.
What should we do questions to ask somebody on one-on-one and give us an idea of what type of personality we have?
Actually, usually you can tell within the first 30 seconds what a personality or behavior style somebody has. And let's see, so you can actually sometimes judge by what they wear. If you think Donald Trump, what do you think of Donald Trump? Power suit, power tie, white shirt, the way they stand, the way they talk, or even the way they answer the phone. If somebody calls me, if I'm a D, I'll say, hello, or Ron, or somebody says, hello, good morning. You know, you can usually tell there's some fine points of behavior, and Robert Rohm goes into this in very much detail. But you can, that's a good question to say, well, if you ask somebody, well, what do you need, or how can I help you move your business forward? and you listen to what they say. If they say, well, I need this, 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 and this, and I need it right now, what do you think their style is? They're a D, a driver, a doer, get the job done. If they say, well, you know, I'd like to have more fun in my life, I'm working on my business, it's kind of a drag, I can't see my family or my spouse, who are they? They're people-oriented, right? Obviously. In fact, and with the C, if you say, well, if the person is a C, you say, what can I do to help you move your business forward? They'll say, well, let me get my notes here. I have my 5-year plan, and I've got my 10-year plan, and this is what I need to do in the next 30 days. Let me show you my notes. And you know they're very, very detail-oriented. They want the details, and if you ignore that, you're going to lose them mentally, and you won't even know why. Anybody ever give a presentation to somebody? It was the best presentation you ever gave, and they kind of look at you like a deer in the headlights, and they said either no. If they were D, they said no. If they were an S, they might say, well, I want to think about it. And they just blow you off. Has that ever happened to anybody? It's happened to me. Okay, so now you have a better idea how. In fact, you can, if you know a person's style ahead of time, especially if you're in a sales situation or a presentation situation. This is what I do. I mentally think, okay, and I have a chart, and I have lots of notes on this model. Because to me, it's one of my passions is personal development. Personally in business, and this to me is critical, not only learning who I am and being able to adapt, but really learning how to genuinely communicate with somebody else. Like if I want to help them, I want to know how I can help them, even if they're different than myself. So it's kind of a long answer to your question, Isla. Jennifer.
Oh, no,
Okay. Yes, Joe, make it quick.
I was curious, when you're assessing yourself, is there a difference between how you assess yourself in your personal life versus your professional life, or is there usually congruency between the two?
Good question. It's are you different in your personal life or your business life? I think basically you have a core of who you are comfortable being, and then you modify your behavior to adapt to whatever person you're talking to or whatever situation. So you do have a core being of who you are, and that's important. We don't want you to be a chameleon and give up your identity. So you would have a core personality, core behavior, and the idea is to be flexible and understand what the other behavior styles are and adapt to them. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, got the high side, 5 minutes. Any questions from this side of the patio here? No, you got everybody, it all sank in, right? It's all there, you're gonna take away. And also too, what you can do is on your name tag today, this is something you can do today, immediately. So you can reinforce it on your name tag, write down your letter. Are you a D? Are you an I? Are you an S? Or you're a C? And you can actually practice and listen to how this person talks, right? Or go home and talk to your husband or your wife. Show them this model, and you probably already know what they are. And you can even explain this model, and it might create a little more peace and harmony at home. Any other questions before we wrap up here? Okay, again, you can search for Dr. Robert Rome. He's got a ton of free information. If you like this model, give me a big round of applause.